Is it working? Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Am I on? Headphones, no headphones, plug it in, unplug it. Can you hear me? Well, hopefully I am recording with sound. Good morning, everyone. I know on IG you can hear me. I'm wondering if YouTube and Facebook can hear me. So little story about my wonderful, beautiful dog and how amazing dogs are. Hi, Augie. Last night at 3:30 in the morning, my dog gets on the bed and really close to my head, which she never really sleeps in the bed. She's so cute. Anyways. And I'm like, okay, does she have to go to the bathroom? Is she thirsty? What is it? So I get up and she doesn't follow me. I put water in a bowl. She doesn't drink. I'm like, she's trying to tell me something. What is she trying to tell me? And I thought I heard her like whining a little bit. So I was like, uh-oh, is my son okay? He slept in my bed last night because there was thunder and lightning. So I put my hand on him. By the way, if you're watching me on Facebook or YouTube, can you hear me? Please let me know. So I'm like feeling around to see if my son is breathing. And, of course, like a parent puts their hand on their child and can't feel the rise and fall. And I'm like, oh my God, is he okay? Is he okay? So I'm like touching him everywhere. He's sound asleep until he like moves. I'm like, okay, it's not him. And I keep thinking I'm hearing my dog whine, but it's actually not my dog. It's that gosh darn battery in the like fire alarm carbon monoxide thing going off, like just beep, beep. And I'm like, motherfucker, gotta get out of my bed. 3:30 in the morning. First, I have to figure out where it's coming from, because we have like 8,000 in our house. I feel like now 2 of them are down because it's happened with another one too. So I better get some new batteries. But I finally figured it was in the basement. I had to turn all the lights on. I had to get a chair, go up on the thing, get it out. And then, of course, you can't get the darn battery out. They make it so hard. So I'm like, I have to go get a knife, and I start prying it out at like in the middle of the night. And I'm afraid my alarm's going to go off like it did the first time that happened. The whole fire truck and all the hot firemen came to my house. Maybe I did it on purpose, but I did not want that to happen at 3:30 in the morning. So anyways, my dog, these dogs, they just know something's not right. And then she stayed in our bed until she knew the 2 of us were asleep. And then she went down to her bed. Just beautiful. Good morning. Thank you for joining me for another week of This Week in Adoption. Our podcast officially launched yesterday, the Adoption Roadmap podcast. If you have not gone to check it out yet, I would so love if you do. It comes out every Wednesday and Friday morning. Wednesdays are usually going to be interviews with people. And although yesterday was a solo episode of me going through the entire home study process, and Fridays are going to be an edited version of this. So if you join me on Thursday, you might not need to follow on Friday, but they won't go in order. So that's what that will be. And these that I come on and do every week live are recaps of the week, like what happened in adoption, what questions have come up with our clients, what things have been posted, and we just want to share those with you in hopes that you can gain some insight from those. Thank you, Laura. Shout out to Laura for the wonderful love and comments about the podcast launch. And she had made a comment um, about how I so beautifully break down complicated and big topics like the home study, which is what I did on our very first episode. Next week, I actually have a guest coming on next Wednesday about further about the home study, but um, from the eyes of a home study provider. So you're going to hear from a home study provider. That's all she does. She's done probably thousands of them at this point in time. And she's really going to tell you what she looks for, what are some reasons why you wouldn't get approved, why, all the things, and tells a really funny story too. So tune in next week. You won't want to miss that. But the other thing I wanted to say is, the Adoption Roadmap podcast is not just another podcast where we're sharing stories from the triad, although we will hear from the triad as well as professionals. We will represent all sides. It's going to be more tactical. What do you need to know if you are starting your journey, going through your journey, or have just come home with your baby? What are the things that you need to know that are pertinent to become a great parent through adoption? So that's what the podcast is really focused on. Again, while people will share anecdotes and parts of their story, this is not just another podcast to tune in and hear people's stories. There are plenty others like that, and they're wonderful. This is going to be more tactical, geared towards people who are starting out and going through it. Okay, great. So this week in adoption, we had some conversations prepping our families for the hospital, for going to the hospital. And one of the things that we like to share with our families is to be transparent with mom. When you go to the hospital, mom is there, she's about to give birth or has just given birth, and you aren't sure what's going to happen. Is she going to sign? Is she not going to sign? It's really nerve-wracking. Everybody's a little uncomfortable. It's a little bit awkward. Just be open and transparent with the birth mom. Let her know that you will be there as much as she would like her. I'm like spitting on the microphone. You'll be there as much as she would like for you to be there, and you are also happy to give her the space that she needs. I know that might feel uncomfortable, and you want to be there. And make sure that she's comfortable with you being there. This may be the only time she gets to spend with her baby before she relinquishes. Hopefully not, but that might be also what she's thinking. So you want to give her that space while also letting her know you are here for her, you're here for the baby, you're here for whatever she needs during this moment in time, that you are there for her first and foremost. And that if she needs you and wants you to be there for the baby at that time, you are 1,000,000% there for that too. But just be transparent, respect her wishes. Don't step in and take over. Don't ever start talking to the nurses about the baby while she's sitting there listening in and you haven't asked her if that's okay for you to do. So never overstep your boundaries at that moment if they are not yours to cross, because you are not yet the parent. So that's one thing. I need a sip of coffee. Okay. Another suggestion by one of my brilliant consultants, who I will have on the podcast sooner or later. So I'm going to shout out to Rachel. She suggested, and I love this, go to Target And again, this is for when you go to the hospital. Go to Target, buy a small backpack, just one of those tiny kid backpacks, or even smaller. Go to the dollar bin. They all have those bins at the front of the store that are on major sale, and everything's like $1 or a couple dollars. And fill up the backpack with stuff from that dollar bin. Small things of Play-Doh, little cardboard books, coloring books, crayons, anything you can find, lotions, and fill up that little tiny backpack. And that's something that you can give to her if she has other children. There's stuff in there for the kids. There might be stuff in there for her, but it's just like a little hospital care package for her kids, and for when she goes home that she will have. And it's just something really fun for her. That's also something that you can do if you go for a visit prior to the birth. On that same train of thought, after you match, sometimes a mom isn't comfortable talking right away or at all. Sometimes she is. Either way, it might be nice to send her a little care package and just let her know that you are excited and grateful that she has chosen to match with you, whatever she decides to do, and that you're thinking of her. So it could be like that little backpack. It could be some lotions. It could be, just sending a small plant, anything small. It's just a care package to say, hey, we're so excited and we're thinking about you. That's it. So a little care package, especially if she's just not comfortable talking. I know a lot of people, it takes a long time for them to be comfortable with that, and that might break the ice a little bit. But even if not, you're still letting her know that, hey, we're here, we're excited, we're thinking about you. And let's see what else came up. This came up numerous times this week. So we often get clients who have finished their home study, but they haven't started their profile yet. That's why we like to start with clients right away before they even have their home study. And I would recommend to anyone who's referring to consultants that you start your families out either while you're just getting started with the home study, or to meet with us first and then start. But usually right around the same time is when you want to get started with a consultant. If you're working with a consultant, is right when you're starting your home study instead of the end. However, we do get a lot of families who already have their home study and they don't have a profile yet. Number one, in order to sign up with agencies, you need both. So that's one of the reasons why I say get started right away with your profile, with your consultant who can help you with that, so that when your home study is done, hopefully the profile is done too, and you can get started signing up with agencies, because the home study will expire. And then when you have to renew it, it costs money. So while you are home study ready, that could take away like 3 months of time before you can sign up with an agency. However, there are always ways around presenting for a situation. So while you won't be allowed to sign up with an agency, and this is one of the benefits of working with a consultant, if you are working with us, excuse me, if you're working with us, we often get situations sent to us from agencies and from attorneys. We have a home study ready list of families who are home study ready and ready to present for situations. And although you don't have a profile yet and you don't have anything to show, you technically could match. So I would say, if you want to present, you could quickly put something together. I actually have a family who I'm looking at what they put together right now. There are so many ways. You could simply put together a letter with a few pictures and save it as a PDF and voila, present. You could make it a little fancier and use something like Canva, which is pretty easy to use. They have all sorts of templates, and I'm sure there's all sorts of other AI tools out there and other things that you can use to put together a quick profile, ad hoc profile. Will it be the best? No. But if you're the right family, you might get chosen. So it's always worth going through that, presenting if you want to present, even if you don't quite have your profile ready, you might get lucky. It's always worth it. So I would recommend doing that. The other thing I would recommend doing, and this maybe can work to your benefit a little bit, because you're putting something together ad hoc, you can tailor it to the expectant mother that you're presenting to. So here's what I mean. Usually a profile will begin with a letter to the expectant mom. You don't want to say, "Dear expectant mom." You don't want to say, "Dear birth mom." You just want to say, "Hi," and start with the letter. If you know she loves gardening and her favorite color is purple, and the birth father works on trucks and whatever, she got a degree in, marketing. I don't know, I'm making it up, obviously, but if you can connect to any of those things, add that into the letter and personalize it with her name if you know her name. If her name is Julie and you know that, "Dear Julie." And also ask if the birth father is known and you have a name of the birth father, ask if you should, if he's going to be involved in the process, you should make it to him too. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to think if anything else came up this week that I can share. Here's one that came up this morning. A beautiful situation where some friends of one of my clients was working with an agency, and talk about sharing the love. They were presented a situation that wasn't the right situation for them, and had friends who were in the process that would maybe fit that situation, and shared their names with the agency. The agency then reached out to our friends, or maybe it was vice versa, told their friends that, "Oh, reach out to this agency. We told them about you." Long story short, the situation was presented to them and they are considering it. And there are some things to consider. There's some exposures, there's some medical. And so one of my recommendations to them was, get as much information as you can. This one happens to be a baby born. See if we can get some medical records in hand, which we are hoping we'll be able to. You don't always get that. And then let's hop on a call with an adoption medicine doc. At RG Adoption Consulting, we have a great relationship with Dr. Sarah Silvestri at the Adoption Doc. Shout out to her. I will put those in the show notes for those listening to this on the podcast. And have a consultation. She's very reasonable, and she will walk through the medical records with you and give you all the implications so that you know what you are saying yes to. I know when you get a call that a baby has been born, here's all the information, and this is your match to say yes to. You are ready to heck yeah, and move forward. What I don't want to happen is that 2 years from now, you say, "Oh my gosh, what did we get ourselves into? We had no idea." I want you to go in knowing what you are saying yes to, at least as much as you possibly can. So If you can hop on a quick consultation with an adoption medicine doctor, I know, we've often talked to Dr. Eckerly as well from the University of Minnesota Adoption Medicine Clinic, another wonderful institution and a great doctor. I highly recommend that you do that. It's going to make you feel so much more comfortable and knowledgeable. And I know that they will also help you to prep. They will tell you what you can do to make the situation better for you and for the baby in the short term and in the long run. Long term, long run, either way. So I hope that helps. That is the end of this week in adoption. And I encourage you, if you are thinking about adopting and you're not quite sure if it's for you or not, go hop on our website and take our free quiz. First of all, who doesn't love to take those quizzes that are free and tell you something about yourself? They're a lot of fun to take, and it'll give you some really good feedback and point you in the right direction. So you just have to go to rgadoptionconsulting.com. If you scroll for about 10 seconds, it will pop right up there on the screen, or you can press the button that says take our quiz and it will send you the results. And then you'll get our weekly email too, which we would love to send you. All right, that is it for today. Have a wonderful weekend. We will catch you every Wednesday and Friday morning for new episodes of the Adoption Roadmap podcast. Please go check it out. Give it a follow, give it a like, give it a review. It helps us tremendously. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye-bye.